Larry Reid, your platform have some great people that are LRLs, Lers, aren't they?
Yeah, I love it. It's a hodgepodge. It's all different types of people that come together. I mean, some sanctified, some not so. Some that are believers and some that are not. It even
I
has some
hope I'm the
atheists.
sanctified.
Even they have some atheists that are there. I mean, so it's I love it because it's like a different. It's just like I said before, a hodgepodge. It's a great mixture of a whole lot of different people, and it creates great conversation. And one of the things that I really love about Only Love, meeting her in New York, and then also watching the page. She don't know it, but I snoop and creep her page, is because she's what we call, what the generation none does, call woke, and she's very clear, and she's very articulate, and very highly prophetic. And I love to hear her articulate, and I love to hear her talk and reconnect um, the millennials and Black people back to their roots. And she's able to sense and to feel and know, the prophetic in whatever form it is. Many times on Larry Live, because I'm there entertaining and educating and empowering, I drop little things that God had put in my spirit
Mm-hmm.
prophetically, and a lot of people don't get it. A lot of people,
Yeah.
they, and I don't even know if they're supposed to get it at that moment, but I know I'm doing a work and I'm doing what I'm supposed to do in the marketplace as a prophet. And so, and it doesn't look like what everybody has seen. And it was sort of like meeting how it was when I met you a few years ago, because you immediately knew and understood. So I think she's a breath of fresh air. And I really enjoyed, there were some key things that she said about repenting for not following a Yah man. I mean, that's how I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm.
And not following a man of God, or those of you that may be watching that left your man of God or left your
Mm-hmm.
prophet. I think this is also, and I typed this up when I shared it out. I just shared it out, and some people came running there because I really believe that people are hearing the call of God. I said you have to renew your covenant at this time with God and your prophet. God has
Mm-hmm.
shut us up in our homes to repent and to return. These 2 days online here will I said, will get your whole hand back where it needs to be. I really, 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 really think that that word that she said about these 2 days, because it's prophetically aligned with the lunar Hebrew calendar, I think is what she
The
said.
new year. Yeah.
Yeah, the new year, that these instructions we're getting are the instructions for our next year. So that was powerful. I totally enjoyed it. So I love all the LRLs and Only Love.
Yes. And Prophet Larry, we love you too. And I thank you for your platform and how you serve. People don't know that LRL helps people, not only women who are victimized, but my grandmother went to the church of the first lady you helped, the church in Brooklyn. My grandmother was an usher there for 40 years. She's passed on, but I really was touched by that. And I want to also say, Larry, that during Passover last year, your platform was on fire because there were so many church scandals. And even in my own Hebrew Pentecostal faith community, a ministry was really exposed. So what you see around Passover is a lot of stuff comes to light. So you really want to take these next 14 days to get your, what you say, hind parts right, because there will be exposure, but I think people also don't realize you still flow in the prophetic in what you do, because you still fight for a lot of the widows and the orphans and the fatherless. And again, this is a leader, and I'm not flattering, I don't do that, but Prophet Larry is someone we should be following. This is the quality of media that our community needs. Again, I'm pointing out people you should follow. Bishop Bloomer is a general, a Levite of spiritual warfare. And we got to know who to follow right now, because if we don't, it's going to be hard for the plagues to pass over you. That patriarch of the Bassa of Cameroon didn't want to follow Moses because he was a slave soldier and his people got left behind in the Exodus. So thank you, Larry, for all you do.
Only Love, Bishop, if I can ask a question,
Yeah.
what are some things you can tell the people that are watching right now, a way that they can know who their prophet is, and what would be a cue?
Yeah, so I think your prophet a lot of times you will be drawn to them because there's a likeness of purpose. They may be way further ahead than you. But there's a likeness and purpose. They have integrity. The spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ, or the name his mama gave him, Yeshua the Messiah. You know, he's pointing you back to Jesus, but he's also challenging you to fully walk in who you are. Your prophet is not someone who has just because they have 100,000 hits on Facebook. Your prophet needs to be submitted. Your prophet needs to be rooted. In my generation, I see a lot of people turn on Facebook Live and they're leading other young people. Larry can tell you, I don't go live on my Facebook all the time because, there's a lot of foolishness out there. So is your prophet aligned with where you want to go? Are they pointing you back to Yeshua, to Jesus Christ? And are they rooted and stable? Your prophet is not just because they turn on a YouTube. And do they have integrity? That in the Bible, the prophets had integrity, and prophets do unusual things. So if you're looking for a prophet and they keep you in the status quo, that's not a prophet. Jeremiah laid on his side for many years. Huldah was a prophet. She, as a woman, ran a college of prophets for women in Jerusalem, but her husband was the wardrobe keeper for the king. So he was doing the king's fashion and she was running a prophetic college. That would make us uncomfortable with the gender roles. But she was the prophet King Josiah and his men went to when they found the Torah. So your prophet is not going to call you to the usual. Brother Minister Ron in my congregation from Jamaica, he always says it's not business as usual, it's business unusual.
So therefore, your first of all, a prophet, because you're really giving us cues on what to look for in a prophet. So a prophet is going to lead you into waters that are unfamiliar, and they're going to be, for a lack of better words, they're not going to fit in the status quo. So following them, you also have to be willing to sort of take some of that on. I mean, those of us, I remember when I first started talking about Bernard Jordan, and I began to speak about him before I even met him. You can find some videos out there of me speaking about him, some visions I saw concerning the future, and he was actually in it, even when the same vision when I knew that Donald Trump was going to be president, and I hadn't ever met him prior to 2019, I think. Well, no, 2018 it was. And so is that something that we need to also be aware of? We're going to start following prophets and being apostolic and being the people that we're supposed to be in whatever industry that we are in and any community we're in. Is that something that we're going to have to also settle with as well?
Yes, I think you can't really go to your next level without your prophet. So I used to watch Master Prophet as a young girl. He had the dreadlocks, and I liked, because I love anything Africa. I was, from a little girl drawn. My relationship with God started at 10 as a foster child, just praying morning, noon, and night. I wasn't raised in a religious home, but I was, I liked what I saw from Master Prophet. But didn't meet him until last year. But a prophet is always going to care about the poor, the orphan, the widow, and have a heart for justice. Every prophet in the Bible talks about justice. So things like the Word Network boycott and police brutality and fathers, prophets care about that. Also, prophets are knowledgeable. The theologian Reinhold Niebuhr said you read the Bible in one hand and you read the New York Times in another. I don't know a nice way to say this, but your prophet is not someone who doesn't have a certain amount of wisdom, knowledge, and education. Now, I'm not saying that they have to have a doctorate, but I am saying if your prophet doesn't know what's going on in the world, how can they give you a timely word? How can they get you to the next part of your vocation, but they don't know about the marketplace?
Exactly. They have to be. That's what I think. That's the thing that I liked about when I connected with Bishop Bernard Jordan. For those of you that are tuning in, you are watching the Prophetic College. I am not running it. Bishop Jordan is, but I'm just asking only love some questions because it just popped in my mind.
Oh, Larry, you know you're running it. You always
I'm
you always running stuff, Larry.
Take over, Spirit.
It wouldn't be like you. It wouldn't be like you, Larry. You know why? Because we are all alpha males here.
And we all take over. It's the
And we all take
spirit.
over. And it's such a break to have someone just take that lead, because this is a powerful team. I mean, the three of us together is dangerous.
only love. I mean, she is terrible.
Well,
Just
I was just talking about the men. I didn't even get into the women. The
Yes, I'm
women
not
are more
out
brutal
for
than the
now.
men.
That's true. That is very true. Very
There
true.
you
I hope we get-
Listen, when we said we were going on the boycott, Only Love, Prophet's Only Love says, I'm setting up the page. And the next thing we knew, we had 5,000. I don't know how many names are on that page right now. Prophet's
It's
Only
like
Love.
close to, it's over 7,000, I think now. Yeah.
7,000 to do that boycott.